Der Tag was verbunden mir mit Eich und Eich mit mir. There's very little that can be said that won't be repetitive. We see something very interesting in the Rebbe's Nesius, right? The Rebbe says that this is the day where the Kesher, the Farbrengen started. And the Rebbe added that then I was thrown into Askonus. Und zusammen wird man ausmachen in die Gula mit es was Schlemo, so sind Pri-Toiv Ba'amolenu. But historically, you see something very interesting in the Rebbe's Nesius that L'chaira is unparalleled by the other Rebbeim. Right? By the Rebbe, literally the Kesher to Chassidim and the Kesher to Nesius started by the Chasna, started by the Shidduch. Right? So all the Rebbeim, so most of the Rebbeim were born to a Rebbe, right? They were sons of Rebbes. 4 of the Rebbeim al Kopanim. And the Alter Rebbe became a Rebbe at a later stage. The Tzemach Tzedek, Take married, right? He wasn't a Ben Acher Ben, but he married the daughter of the Mittel Rebbe. But to say that his shaykhs to Chassidim and to Chabad, in that position, started by the Chasna, so we know that already before that there was the Tzemach Tzedek grew up by the Alter Rebbe. Ad kedei kach that in one of the sichos, Tafshin Chafei, was dacht ich now by Yetzei or Vayishlach, I think by Yetzei, where the Rebbe brings the Maisa that the Rebbe had with the Shver, where the Rebbe was speaking to the Friedrich Rebbe about the Tzemach Tzedek during the Nesius of the Mittel Rebbe, and the Rebbe Kinir set up a statement that was mashma that during the Nesius of the Mittel Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek was fearing on his own mahalach, and the Friedrich Rebbe took it in a very hard way, and the Friedrich Rebbe said, "A nasi is not einer." In other words, whichever way we'll understand what exactly was going on during the Nesius of the Mittel Rebbe as the Tzemach Tzedek, right? We know Kiviyachal had his own mahalach, his own derech connected to the Alter Rebbe. Yet, a nasi is not einer. But what that brings out, what that tells us is that we see that Tzemach Tzedek was already involved from years before. By the Rebbe, so the Rebbe Betzim came to Lubavitch, whatever that means. Right? We know the Rebbe was by his father. The Rebbe was in Ekaterinoslav. And the Rebbe came to the Friedrich Rebbe Eresh Tafresh Pei Gimel, which was when the Rebbe started the process of a Shidduch. What exactly was the Asbara? Why the Rebbe wasn't by the Rebbe Nishma Seidim before, and even by the Friedrich Rebbe before? Right? There's Zen in Mir to Krichen and Di and Yanim. But we see that the whole Kesher Betzim was built. It started within a Kud of a Shidduch. You have later on in Pei Gimel in the summer already the letter where the Friedrich Rebbe writes that now I was already with the Rebbe. I saw the Rebbe already earlier. Right? The Rebbe came, we know, in the fall, winter of Pei Gimel. But Friedrich Rebbe says now in the summer, now I had more time with the Rebbe, and now I had time to learn in Hilchas Mem, right? The halachas of the Rebbe. Now the Friedrich Rebbe got to know the Rebbe better. And then this obviously led to the Shidduch and the Chasna and Peites. And then right after the Chasna, we know the Rebbe started the Kol Yoni Askonis and working for the Friedrich Rebbe and involved in the Rebbe and Yonim. So we see that by the Rebbe, the Kesher of the Rebbe to the Friedrich Rebbe, the Golui, and then to Chassidim, started with the Shidduch, started with the marriage, which we don't see by the other Rebbeim. Right? Which brings out this Nikudah that the Inyan of Nisuin and the Shaykhis and our Shaykhis to the Rebbe and the Rebbe's Nisuin, by the Rebbe is a lot starker than the other Rebbeim. Right? As Rabbi Krasansky explained very well, Betzim, this is the whole Inyan of Yiddishkeit and ganz Chassidus Inyan of Nisuin, but you see by the Rebbe, this Inyan is a lot more boilet. And Taka, you see that the Rebbe made a big story of the Inyan of Yom Nisuin. Where do we see Frier, the Chassidim celebrate the Yom Nisuin of the Nasi and of the Rebbeim? The Rebbe, by the Rebbe, the Inyan of Nisuin, right? By the Friedrich Rebbe is the Chasna, Yud Gimel Elul, the Rebbe gemacht a greise Simcha wegen dem whole Yom Tiv. Right, it's the middle of Chodesh Elul. Chodesh Elul has many Chashav Tarichim. Bekesher to Tshuva, Bekesher to Chayelul, was bring the Chayzenel. My the Rebbe comes Yud Gimel Elul, and that's the Pnimiyas, and that's the Yisoid of Elul. Al derech zeh, when you get to the Rebbe's Chasna, Yudalit Kislev is Baruch Hashem a saturated Chodesh, and comes Yudalit Kislev, and that's in the Kuda Atzmis. Yudalit, as the Rebbe says in the Sichos, Yudalit Tesvav Kislev is the Kaima Sir Rabbi Shlomusa. There was medayik that the Kaima Sir Rabbi Shlomusa is between Yudalit and Tesvav. This is the Pnimiyas, and this is the Etzem of Kislev. So what does this mean practice to us? And what does it mean when we say that our kesher to the Rebbe, and as the Rebbe said, not verbinden mir mit eich, eich mit mir, the Rebbe's kesher to us, which starts with the Rebbe's kesher to the Friedrich Rebbe. And the Rebbe's kesher to the Rebbetzin, and the Rebbe's kesher to Chassidim, all revolves around the Nikud of Nisuin. So Betzim in that Farbrengen, famous Farbrengen of Yudalit Kislev, Toshin Yudalit, everyone spoke about it, and it's now, what are we now, 70 years to this monumental Farbrengen, where the Rebbe gered Zeir Tife and Pnimi stick in Yonim. So at the end of the Farbrengen, when the Rebbe said that statement, they're talking about verbunden mir mit eich und eich mit mir. But what's the context to that statement? Where did it come from? It wasn't just a statement at the end of the Farbrengen, it came out of nowhere, Geschmack Wort, and now we have what to Farbrengen about for the next 70 years. So in the whole Farbrengen, Be'etzem, the Rebbe Geret in Yonim, the L'cheir are all connected to this Inyan. And there's a lot of oimik there, but we'll speak on the more practical takeaways from it. There's two Inyanim that the Rebbe speaks about in the Farbrengen. The Rebbe speaks about Minhagim, and the Rebbe speaks about Chassidus. Which is Be'etzem Darke Chassidus and Teres Chassidus. So in this Farbrengen, the Rebbe said the famous Sikha about Minhagi Chabad, and that there's two kinds of Minhagim. There's Minhagim that the Rebbe were Noyig Begoloi, and they were Mefarsim Begoloi. And then there's Minhagim that were Minhagim Pratim, Minhagim Beisarav. And basically in this Sikha, which was the Sikha, the Rebbe edited this Sikha as the Akdama, as the Pesach Dover to Sefer Minhagim. In this Sikha, the Rebbe basically takes away any mechitzas. Now we're at a stage that there's no Minhagim Klali, Minhagi Yisrael, Minhagi Chabad, and then Minhagi Beisarav, Minhagi Pratim. The most plimiistic in Minhagim and Minig Beisarav, the things that L'chayra were never Begolui, is now for everybody. Right now we know that we have the Rishimis, we know that many of the Minhagim that are in Sefer Minhagim, it's Minhagim that the Friedrich Rebbe shared with the Rebbe in private conversations. When you get the private conversations, there's many conversations that you see between the Friedrich Rebbe and the Rebbe, and this is in the conversations they had, and also in the letters that were the letters that Friedrich Rebbe sent to the Rebbe. Kamen v'kamen yon that the Friedrich Rebbe, as the Friedrich Rebbe is telling it to the Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe is makdim. This is prati, or this is not ein lefarsim. Don't be mefarsim this. The Rebbe, as the Rebbe said many times, the Rebbe is not shaykh to hold anything farzich. As mezaktem epsa inyan, automatically it's going to go out. And the Friedrich Rebbe knew this. The Friedrich Rebbe knows that the Rebbe is not shaykh to hold anything to himself. So even though the Friedrich Rebbe says that he shouldn't be mefarsim it, he knew that the Rebbe was going to be mefarsim, so it's batal mafreya. And now the minhagim are shaykh to everybody. Something very interesting that my father gave into the Rebbe, the Sefer Minhagim, they translated in Tafshin Unal, Tafshin Un Beis. So I'm not sure if it was in Cheshvan or Kislev, Aberech, this Kufed, my father gave into the Rebbe before he published it. If I'm not mistaken, he gave it to the Rebbe then, before it went to be printed. Later, when it was published, published a little before Chav Zayin Adar. As he brought it to the Rebbe, I think it was the last Sefer that my father brought to the Rebbe before Chav Zayin Adar. And the Rebbe gave him a bracha, that was Moisav Zayin Kahena V'Chahena. But here, when he gave it into the Rebbe put the Rebbe would write in the Tarichim on the Sfarim. Sfarim came out from Kahas. So the Rebbe wrote in the Tarich Yudalit Kislev. Right, so this is 40 years later, 38 years later from Yudalit. And Sefer Minhagim, it wasn't given in the day before Yudalit Kislev. It was Berech in those weeks. And the Rebbe put the Tarich Yudalit Kislev. You see by the Rebbe had by the Rebbe was a Kesher Yudalit Kislev to Nino Minhagim. So the Rebbe spoke by Riches about the Inyan of Minhagim, then touching your Dalit. And the Rebbe was mafli the Inyan that today, even the most Pashtech Sidim and the Sheikh Chabad or people that mamish don't, that aren't Baki and all them and the Chayr don't keep everything to the highest standard. But Minhagim that Amol, even Geisach Sidim, not everyone kept it. Now it's Davar HaPasha. The Rebbe spoke about Netilas Yadayim. We wash 3 times each hand. Or the Hantech after plates. And it was Davar HaPasha. The Rebbe then said a Loshin when they get to the Minhagim. Right, what's the nekuda we take out of this whole Inyan? That the Minhagim, Darkim, Minhagim Chassidis, so Bichlolo, Ma'uchid, Minhagim Beisarav, is shaykh to everybody. Right, there's no boundaries. Right, what's the Rebbe saying here? That with all the Gilui of Chassidis throughout the Deiris, and the Iskashos of Rebbeim to Chassidim, at the end of the day, the Rebbeim are here, the Chassidim are here, and when a Chassid would come along and try to keep Minhagim that are Hecher from Zayin Darge, the Rebbe brings in the Siche for Kert, when you cook the family, he said, you're Meshugane, you're not Makers Mekoimoi, you're reaching too high. Be an honest person, do what's shaykh to you, and that's it. Gainish Techer. And the Rebbe brings from Kuntres Avodah. Kuntres Avodah it says that a person shouldn't be toifus in yonim that are shleil fiyerkei. But the Rebbe says that behind Avodah is chatoif echel, chatoif ishti, and you have a shaykhas taminig, you do the minig. It's a pastor yes, it's a pastor nish. What's the word? The word is this is better meaning of nisuin in a marriage, right? Everyone knows you get married, so the wife takes on the husband's minhagim. She starts making cheshbonis. My husband comes from some Spitz Chabad, from a family that's very, very machmir and has very interesting minhagim. I don't come from there, so he'll hold these minhagim and she'll hold andere minhagim. You take on the minhagim. Why? You married in. Once you're married in, it's a whole different cheshbon. So you take on the minhagim. So that was one Inyan, the Inyan of minhagim. And you can see, so then later in the Farbrengen, the Rebbe brought many minhagim of the chasana. And the Rebbe was mamish megale minhagim that happened by the chasana and personal things and conversations with the Friedrich Rebbe. So one of the nyanim the Rebbe brings is beneged to the tabas, beneged to the ring. So the Rebbe says that by the chasana, so the ring was from gold, tabas shel zav. The Rebbe said it should have been from mikesef, it should have been silver, and the Rebbe brings a few sibis. Now, where are these sibis from? After the chasna, the Rebbe's father, Rebbe Leivik, sent the Rebbe a letter. There's a few letters, right? There's a letter that we have a letter that was written before the chasna, Vav Kislev, the day of the Tnoim, and then there was a letter written Boy B'yoyim. I forgot how many words it is, but later the Rebbe Leivik writes about this letter. And also the Rebbe's uncle writes about this letter. The letter with these many words, that letter that was written the night of the chasna. And the following days, Rebbe Leivik wrote to the Rebbe a few more letters. So one of the letters, Leivik says, I heard, you wrote to me that by the Chatzane there was a tabas, there's a tabas shal zav, ulepela. The chayret should be a tabas shal kesef. And the Rebbe's father brings a few of these timim. So by the Farbrengen, the Rebbe brings these timim. In other words, the Rebbe is acknowledging that be'etzem, mitzad the home that I grew up in, mitzad the menhagim that I came with, segedar zayin mikesef. But the Rebbe is marrying in, so it's Tabas Shal Zav. And by the Farbrengen, the Rebbe said the Chayret should have been Mikesef, Sai Mitzad, the Lashon HaMishnah Kesef Shavi Kesef, Sai Mitzad Kabbalah, right? This Rebbe Leivik means that Mitzad Kabbalah, it should be the Inyan of Kesef. Sof, Lupoyel, it was Tabas Shal Zav. Everyone can figure out, Kertzoi Noi, whatever you think the reason is, aber Azay is given. Wie the Shver Fleck Zog, and Azay Bich gehört. The Rebbe is not even going to be married. But that's the Nekuda. The Rebbe is trying to bring out this Nekuda, that a marriage is, these are the minhagim. This is what we take upon ourselves. When we're chassidim, to be a chassid of the Rebbe, means if the Rebbe is minhagim. The Rebbe is minhagim. You're fully there. You come from that background. You fully get it. Nish negeya. Resign after Rebbe's vagon. Right, the Rebbe come upon him with chaz the var that are a man for first class. Right. We're in first class. We're together with the Rebbe. We do the Rebbe's minhagim. So that's one Inyan. The next Inyan that the Rebbe get by Riches, the Nekud of Teres Achsidus. So at the end of the Farbrengen, after the Rebbe said the talk was of Farbrengen mir mit Eich and Eich mit mir, Then the Rebbe asked that the Bachrim should all ask for a bracha. They should have atzlacha in Nigel the Torah, Pnimis the Torah. So then the Farbrengen, so the von Ziknech Chassidim got up and asked the Rebbe, on gebeten a bracha, he said that the Chassidim beten a bracha, as the Rebbe soll uns führen an Kegen Mashiach. Oh, then the Farbrengen. So the Rebbe said that durch Limud Chassidus is shaykh not only to Yechidei Skula, everyone has to be kevei itim lezeh, but bringing Mashiach. Everyone has to have a kevei itim in Chassidus. And what's in the Kun Limud Chassidus? But if I bring the Rebbe get this all bezach. The Rebbe spoke about Toyu and Tikkun. But we know the Torah area of the week is about Toyu and Tikkun. This is the mocker in Chassidus. Always goes back to Torah area by Yishlach, Esav, Yankiv. So the Rebbe said that first comes Toyu, then comes Tikkun, and there's shlovim in life where there's Toyu and then Tikkun. With in Klali, Bachrim are Toyu, and Yungalayt are Tikkun. Looks like a Toyu, a shtickle reign supreme over here. But Mevar given freer about a certain individual that he's normal and he's bringing normalcy to the world. So Kinira, that's the gather of Toyu and Tikkun is the shtickle debatable. So then the Rebbe says, Tzatake Bachrim are Toyu and Yungalayt are Tikkun. But sof, there has to be a chibur of Toyu and Tikkun. And even Tikkun has to have a shaykhus to Toyu. And the Rebbe explained different Eifanim how there is Toyu even by Tikkun. Right, the vart isn't that then, right, you finish your world of Toyu, and now you're in Tikkun, and now you're Alts and Seder, and das does. Take, you have to enter the world of Tikkun, and that's where Derv Tachtoinim is. But sof, the Kavanah is, Oiris the Toyu became the Tikkun. And then the Rebbe connects us the need of Limud Chassidus. And the Kud of Limud Chassidus is the Zelbe Zach. What's in Limud Chassidus? Limud Chassidus is the kesher of the Pnimius Neshama, durch Pnimius Atera, to Sosim the Kutcha Brichu. That we don't just get, right, we don't just get the Chitzonius. We don't just get, there's the background. What does the user get? Right, the user gets the end product. No, we have a shaykhis, our pnimius, to sosim deiraisa, to sosim kuchabrichu. Pnimius atayra means that not only, so first of all we have the minhagim. The minhagim is the ma'aseh b'poil. The ma'aseh b'poil. That even if we're shaykh, we're not shaykh, we have shaykhis to the ma'aseh b'poil of the Rabbeim's minhagim. Pnimius atayra means it's not only in of ma'aseh, it's in of dibur, it's in of machshava, in of midis, moichin, rotzin, tainug. That all koiches and nefesh are miyuchid. And weiter you'll come and say everyone's shaykhis to Pnimis HaTorah. Certain people, they didn't do that. Back in the day, not everyone learned Pnimis HaTorah, even after Gili Chassidus, Nish Yeder Yid, and then only those that learned in Timchei Tmimim. But now we're saying, no, obviously the Bachrim, those that are in Eilam HaToyu, they're versteht sich, they drown in Limud Chassidus. But also those that are in Tikkun have to have a shaykhis to these Oyris, the Toyu, have the shaykhis to the deepest in Yonim. Because now every single person is in this marriage. We all married in. When you marry in, you take on the minhagim. But not only you take on the minhagim, you start living your life this way. You start thinking this way. You develop a mindset. These in Yonim, the Rebbe Geret also these weeks in Tavshin Nun Beis, Parshas Vayetze, Parshas Vayishlach, the Rebbe spoke about the Indian of Nisuin. And that now we're at the final stage of Nisuin, Knesset Yisrael v'Kutcha Brichu. And the Rebbe said, and therefore, what's the Avodah now? What's the Avodah of unser der? The Avodah is, the Rebbe said like this, Al Shen Great. Wir sitzen zusammen mit den Eberstein, bei des Sude, Rabbi the Sheira Bur, Lev Yosef, Yain HaMeshomer, it's all here. The einzige Sache is, was is geblieben is, Effen in the Egen. This Galus is everything, the only thing we have to do is open our eyes. Then the Rebbe says, was pshat Effen in the Egen? The Rebbe says, "V'neisif to the Gepashut, Limud HaTorah and Kiyum HaMitzvahs." The Rebbe says the same two things: the Hirois, the Minhagim of Rebbe Seinu Sienu, and Limud Chassidus. Through Kiyum HaMinhagim and Limud Chassidus, it's not only that then you come zum Tish. That's what we're already by the table. Mizdah by the Sudas Achasana. You don't have to come to the table. You don't have to show up. We're here. Idal Kislev means that we're here. We're part of this relationship. Elamam der Effing Ding in Pashav Tachab. Was tut sich da? Wir seien da. Yisrael und Malko Bluchudoi. Yisrael Kodesh Brichot Kol Achad. Der Tag was Farbrengen mir mit Ai. Chonek mit mir. Wir sind alle da zusammen.